Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Marie Hoffmann and I'm the host for today's super exciting discussion about a totally new herbicide. As some of you probably know, I'm a farmer myself and I'm spending a lot of time in my fields but also on other farms, so I'm in a super close exchange with farmers all over around Europe. And today we are talking about a really important milestone for the industry, the launch of FMC's new herbicide active ingredient Isoflex active, because right now weed control is becoming one of the biggest challenges for growers across Europe. Resistance pressure is increasing, familiar tools are disappearing, and at the same time expectations around sustainability, productivity and regulations continue to rise. That's why a completely new mode of action is such a big step for the industry. Today we want to talk about how innovation, regulation and also practical farming come together. I'm very happy to be joined by the FMC team, Sebastian, David, Yvonne and Maxime. Let's get started. Sebas, let me start with you. From your perspective, why does this launch matter right now? Not just for FMC, but for the whole industry and especially for farmers.
Yes, farmers have been asked to produce more and more, be more productive. Agriculture is very important for Europe, especially when we talk about cereals. It's the crop that is the most important in terms of hectares and one of the highest in terms of value. So why it matters? We are in a turning point where some of the tools that the farmers used to have, like flufenacet, for instance, an herbicide that has been broadly used for farmers, is not in the toolbox of the farmers used to have anymore. We are bringing an innovation with Isoflex Active that is going to be a key tool for the farmers to maintain that productivity that they need to have.
So how do you approach this challenge from a research and development perspective, and how does your experience in weed control shape what you are developing going forward?
Yes, Mary. This is the area of weed control with herbicides. This is an area that FMC has a long expertise. You need to think that the last herbicide that has been launched in this space with the latest mode of action was clomazone, and that was an herbicide that was launched by FMC. So we are a company with a lot of background on the herbicide market. There are, as you mentioned, resistance problems. There are some grasses that are known as being very difficult to control, blackgrass, lolium, as examples. And those are targets for us that we work during many years to see how we can bring innovation to help the farmers. So this is not a work that we started just yesterday because we know that, or we find out that flufenacet is going to be out of the market. This is a work of many, many years of researchers and experts like David as an example that we work to discover and bring products that help the farmers to solve the problems that they have on weed control.
In what kind of crops can Isoflex Active be used?
So for us, the most important crop is cereals. This is the crop number one. But we are working actively to develop it in different crops, other crops. Also rape is an important crop as well that we are working, corn, potatoes, and we look to see how we can expand beyond those crops as well.
Europe is a very challenging market when it comes to regulation. What does this say about your long-term commitment to this market?
So for us, Europe is a key market. It's very important for the business. It's obviously important for us that we are in the region, but it's important for the company as well. It's a market that puts pressure from a regulatory point of view, but forces as well to continue to develop and bring more sustainable solutions to this space. And Isoflex Active is an example. It has been a long time since we had one company that has been able to register an herbicide. So it is difficult, but it is not impossible, obviously. and we're very much committed to continue to bring innovation, and we're one of the companies that has more products, innovative. We have another herbicide, for instance, that we are working to bring in this market as well, which is a new mode of action. So we continue to see how we bring more innovative solutions to our farmers.
David, with you, I want to take a look behind the scenes. When did this journey actually start?
Well, Marie, this journey started already back in 2012, 2013. At that time, FMC already recognized the growing issues with resistant weeds, the reducing availability of efficient herbicide mode of actions, and the regulatory pressure on these. Hence, this was not only a regulatory initiative, this was actually a deliberate strategy to develop new mode of actions and new active ingredients for helping growers controlling difficult weeds.
What would interest me as a farmer and also an agriculture engineer is how that active actually works. So I saw on photos that it blends out the weeds, for example, and that has this magenta color, right? How does it work? How is the mode of active?
Isoflex active mode of action is a carotenoid biosynthesis inhibitor. Carotenoids are phytoprotectors of the chloroplasts who are responsible of the chlorophyll production, which give the plants its natural green color. By interfering the chlorophyll biosynthesis, the plant will lose that green color and actually will start to show the herbicide symptoms, which are typically the chlorosis, the yellowing, evolving into bleaching and the typical magenta color.
For those people who are not in research, what does it actually take to develop a new active ingredient? How do you find out what's working and what is not damaging the crop?
Yeah. It's a very good question. The development of a new herbicide active substance or an active substance in general is a long but rewarding process. It's much more than only discovering a new molecule. It takes years to understand where and how it can bring value to the growers, what are the key target weeds, in which crop it is safe, in what segments, what timings, and where it will deliver most value to the growers. It will take years of field trials to understand the performance, to understand the flexibility, the crop safety, but also to understand the limitations. All in all, to optimize the performance before we bring the product to the growers, to the market. We also spend significant amount of efforts and research in formulation technology, mixtures, and stewardship. For example, identifying the best partners that will help in bringing resistance-aware solutions to the growers to help them fighting those most difficult weeds. We have strict milestones in our product development process, so only very few molecules reach the market at the end. That's why this achievement is not only a scientific success, but it's actually a testimonial of a commitment of a whole organization.
So what would you say, David, where are we today in this journey?
The approval and the launch of Isoflex Active is actually an exciting milestone. It shows that science and perseverance go hand in hand. Isoflex Active efficacy, crop safety, reliability and flexibility will be really important to bring sustainable solutions to the growers. For me, this moment is also about confidence. Confidence that what we have seen working and what started in the lab and the greenhouse is actually now also going to bring value to the growers out there in the field on their farms.
As I already noticed, FMC is often talking about innovation with a purpose. What does that actually mean in practice?
So true innovation is when it really addresses farmers' needs and when it brings value to where it matters most on the field.
So Yvonne, I want to discuss the regulatory perspective with you. How unusual is it today to see a new herbicide entering the EU market? Isn't that a quite big thing?
Yes, thank you, Marie. Actually, it's very rare. Over the last decade, we had only very few new active substances enter the EU market. The level of protection for the consumer and the environment is extremely high, and this is very good. This is what we also want to see. However, it also means that it takes time for this process to go through. So when we see Isoflex active now being approved, innovation is possible even within this EU stringent regulatory framework.
What do you think what makes it so complex in Europe?
Yes, the regulatory framework in the EU is very complex and challenging. We have a lot of data requirements to meet. The standards are very high, and this is good. We support that, but also means that we generate data over years. It's a long-term commitment that the company takes. If we want to bring the innovation with a purpose, it also means the products that we bring to the market in the end, that they are safe for the environment and for health.
Yeah, for the farmers and especially for the consumers, right?
So, and then regulatory strategy also plays a big role. So I'm very proud that we actually managed to set that strategy and bring it through the finish line where we are now. We have launched, so we received the EU approval for Isoflex active.
Yeah, it's a big achievement.
It has taken nearly 10 years. Mm-hmm.
So what still has to happen now for the farmers to bring it into the praxis?
Yes, so in the EU regulatory framework we have a two-step process. So the EU active substance approval is one step, but then also the products need to be authorized. So this is just opening the door for now seeking the product authorizations on country level. And we are already starting. We have submitted the dossiers, but they are under evaluation, and it will be by crop, by country. So you can imagine how complex that gets. Every product needs to be authorized separately, and every active substance contained in the product needs to be approved. So this is where we see the complexity of it all. We've already submitted the product dossier, so the evaluation is ongoing, but also that takes time because also the authorizations in each country need to be assessed carefully. The data, the amount of data that we generate, we want to be sure that the products in the end are sustainable and they are safe for the farmers to use and to use in their toolbox.
You say safe for the farmers. What do you think does that mean for the trust of growers?
The farmers will get a product that they can trust in because it's been assessed by the authorities. It's efficacious, it's sustainable, and it meets the standards from each country.
We have launched already in some other countries.
That is true, yeah. So if we're not talking just EU, but also in Great Britain, we already have the active substance approval, and last year we already received product authorizations. So there we are 1 year ahead. As you can see, the complexity in EU is a bit more than what we have in GB.
Yeah. Are there any references? Probably did you talk already to farmers at the UK?
Obviously, yes, a lot. So the product has been used last October, and even 6 months later, every day we are getting feedback from growers. And as David was saying, this is what does matter for us, to receive all this kind of positive feedback. So every day we receive feedback, growers saying yes, I see the incremental values that it brings to control my blackgrass or my lolium in my program. So every day, even this morning, I got some pictures on one grower that have tested our new Isoflex active based product called Fondatis, comparing to the old program that he was using, and he saw definitely the difference. So he was posting some pictures on social network comparing the two programs. Few days after the application, we also got this famous magenta color on some key grasses, and everybody was proud to see, oh, this is nice, we see when it performs. So yes, we are very, very happy to hear from the market this feedback.
That's really good.
Definitely in regulatory, it's about the long-term commitment of the company, as you can see with the duration. So we start very early in development, and in regulatory we start 10 years before actually getting an approval for generating data that we need, addressing questions throughout the process, collaborating with the authorities.
Maxime, so I want to go out in the fields with you, just imagine. What are growers telling you today? So I myself see rising problems with resistances in weeds, like we also mentioned the black grass, for example, but also ryegrass. What do you think?
Yeah, no, basically when we meet growers and we ask about their weed control pain point, what are the key pain points, very often, as you are saying, resistance is the key pain point. Definitely, they see growing resistance issue on the field, especially with grasses on the cereals, but on the other crops too, echinocloa on corn. In some countries in EU especially, this is a big issue. The second pain point that they mention is now with fewer options available, especially on the herbicide side, and when they are still available with dose weight reduction, how can we sustain the yields and perform as we were used to perform in terms of yield? So this is another pain point. And as you mentioned earlier today, another pain point is with the climate change. How can we keep flexible strategies on their weed management with the climate change, as from one rainy autumns to a very dry autumns? How can be sure that I will use a good product and flexible product in my weed management strategies?
So what does Isoflex Active deliver for them directly?
So definitely, yes, Isoflex Active will bring sustainable and strong foundation in the weed management strategies. I mean, to bring consistent efficacy in the programs, but also safe solution on a very flexible solutions to mix with the other available tools, not only herbicides, but also to integrate this new AI in an integrated weed management strategy.
What would you say, how important is that this product is also used correctly, especially when it comes to resistance?
Yeah, definitely this is a very important point. We bring an innovation, new mode of action, as said by David on cereals. Our commitment is to keep as much as possible these new tools for the farmers. And to keep these new tools, we need to have a responsible use in terms of resistance management strategies, on the way we will integrate this tool in the programs. So this is one of the key pillars on our stewardship strategies with the growers, with the agronomists, how we will integrate that. But this is not the only one. Responsible use is also how you will target the weeds and to avoid off-target movement of the herbicides, to avoid drift as an example. So we have a strong program on that side too, to also recommend and to have a strong spray management recommendations to focus on the target and to avoid again any drift. But we have many other programs in terms of crop safety. This is a new tool, innovative tool, so we need also to make sure we will bring good awareness, how it works, what does it mean in terms of crop safety, what does it mean in terms of weed symptoms, in terms of behaviors, depending on the weather condition. So there are a lot of programs behind, and this is the reason why we have developed an e-learning comprehensive platform for growers, agronomists, to bring as much as possible information how the product based on Isoflex Active will perform in the field, to bring information. And this is not only a launch event, I will say. This is something that we will update year over year to bring as much as possible good information for the growers to ensure strong commitment on sustainable use on that side.
That sounds super interesting. Is it working with a weather station for your area, for example? Or how?
Not necessarily, at least we want to bring as much as possible updated information. As mentioned by David, development doesn't stop when we will get product registration. We pursue our active life cycle management. So every year we perform program, trials, we also monitor the use with the growers, and then we adapt our recommendation, also linked to the regulatory environment. So every year when we get new learnings, how to apply the product, then we update our recommendations, not only on the labels, and that's why we saw that this kind of e-learning platform can be something very useful to update information on our product.
So for some of you, the launch is probably a once-in-a-lifetime happening. What is the most exciting thing about that?
Okay, for those that we are older, it's not one lifetime because we have done others, but for many people it is. And it is for us super exciting, for instance, when we did the pre-launch in UK, Great Britain, last year, and see the level of enthusiasm from our partners, the distributors and the farmers. This is what we are looking for. to make sure that we bring a solution that helps farmers to be successful.
For me, actually, it was, so there's an EU active substance database online, and I've been working on this active substance for 6 years at least. And in the database, it always says pending. And when it switched to approved in green, that was a big excitement for me, I can tell you.
How about you, David?
Well, Marie, for me, it's about knowledge transfer, the education process, and that starts internally and goes to the dealers, to the growers. And it's actually during that process that you can see the excitement about the performance, about the flexibility, about the future. That's actually what makes somebody happy.
Yep, it makes hope. Yeah. What would you say, Maxime?
So Sebas was saying older may have experience launching new AI. For me, this is the first time I will launch a new active ingredient on the market. And I still remember the few months when I was portfolio manager and research and development team came to me and mentioned what will make you the happiest portfolio manager in terms of new herbicides to be developed. And obviously I would like to have a new mode of action. I grew up on a farm where cereals was cultivated, and I know very well the challenge in terms of resistance, fewer herbicides available. So I mentioned new mode of action on cereals. Definitely, you will make me the happiest portfolio manager. And now I'm here launching a new active ingredient for cereals market with a new mode of action, and with the fun sides where we can explain futures and bring colors behind. For me, this is the most exciting things that I believe I may have in my career life.
Yeah, it's such a big achievement.
Yes.
So this was super exciting and super interesting. Thank you so far. To close, if each of you could probably share one short takeaway, especially for the growers, what would it be? Let me start with you, Sebastian.
Thank you. Yes, for us this is a very exciting time. No? For FMC we are launching Isoflex active, and that doesn't happen very often, so for us it's a very important time. But this is not what matters. What matters is that we bring a new solution to the farmers. We help them to be productive, to be more sustainable in the long run. So we need to secure that we both, together with them, we are successful and they succeed. So this is what we are looking for.
Absolutely. Yvonne, how about you?
I think this is innovation that meets the highest regulatory and product stewardship standards.
David?
This solution is supported by over decades of R&D efforts, and it will bring reliable performance where it matters most in the field.
Yeah, and Maxime?
So Isoflex Active as an innovative tools obviously brings new thinking, but will bring new performance, putting back confidence in sustainable weed control strategies for the growers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that super interesting conversation. I think there were so many points that probably growers didn't know before. And I as a grower and a farmer, I'm really excited to use that product actually in practice. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.